It's ghoulish. That's the only word that can explain Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sharing a private picture of their so-called private children, Archie and Lily, on their so-called private vigil to lay flowers at Princess Diana's grave.
So there we are, lots of photographs of Meghan, Harry and the kids back in the UK, which I would suggest is something of a reneging on the deal to keep this trip private.
Absolutely, but neither of them care a hoot now. It's just terrible. They are so full of nastiness and getting their own feelings back.
Duchess Meghan has shared some new family snaps.
Yeah, we love family snaps, and she's offered us a little photo dump of the recent visit to Portugal and the UK. Whole bunch of lovely photographs there, romping around the pool there. They're looking nice, relaxed, having a dinner out. We're romping in pools, we're walking along beaches. We're having a lovely time. The kids' faces, of course, as she does, always are protected. We don't see them full face, as it were, but they look like they're having a lovely time.
Covered it that just a couple of weeks ago, Meghan Markle had the front to brief the mainstream media that it was her who was never going to release pictures of the children with King Charles. It was her who's so determined to protect their privacy. And then this dump on Instagram, when finally it's revealed by people within the...
I mean, it's just disgusting.
I think it's deeply wrong, and it's very hypocritical, because when the couple left the United Kingdom in 2020, they said that they didn't enjoy being frontline serving royals. They valued their privacy. They wanted to be normal people. Well, they're putting their children on Instagram every 10 seconds and living very public lives.
Yes.
So what's the problem with that? Well, whenever the Duchess does something, there's always something that you think, oh, really? And there is one particular photo, that photo. Let's sit on that for a second, Tim, because this photo is what has got a lot of people upset, because what this seems to be, now People magazine are reporting it, no one else seems to have confirmed it, that it's the belief is that is taken at Althorp, the place where Princess Diana grew up and indeed where she is now buried.
In case you don't realise, Harry and Meghan briefed directly to People magazines. This has come from their team, and People reports one image shows Harry, Archie and Lily from behind as they walk down a grassy path lined with trees and hedges. The photo is believed to have been taken at Althorp, the Spencer family's ancestral estate where Diana grew up. Harry and Archie are both seen carrying large bouquets, prompting speculation that the family may have visited Diana's burial site, which is like...
They want to do this series about how Diana died, and that's why they were so desperate to come here to stay in the country, because they couldn't do that from Australia or Canada or wherever else they wanted to go to. So they came here to take pictures from that. I'm sure that's the only reason they wanted to come, not to see the king, not to see anything else, but to be able to go to
work as ever. I'm sure she's used that phrase purposefully. Meghan Markle takes what should be a solemn and private family moment and exploits it for clicks and money. It's so incredibly disgusting, and I can't help but imagine Prince William would be incensed. There's nothing wrong with them visiting Diana's grave, but why did she have to disrespect Harry and her children by posting about it? This is a woman who's claimed for years that all she wants for her family is privacy, and then she commoditizes her children and the memory of her deceased mother-in-law for the world to see.
Thought and take photographs.
And, Angela, they couldn't resist publicising their UK return. It would have been perfectly possible for them to arrive in the UK incognito in a blacked-out SUV, visit the King at Highgrove House in the company of Camilla, who had to be there as a witness so they couldn't lie about what happened, go to Althorp, spend time with Diana's side of the family, and then go back home again. But they had...
The silence wasn't accidental. It was engineered, controlled, protected, and then shattered in a single, deliberate moment. For days, Britain's most aggressive photographers had nothing. No airport photograph, no blurry hotel sighting, no vehicle pulling into Highgrove, no trace of Harry, Meghan, Archie, or Lilibet anywhere in the United Kingdom. A royal visit had happened without the press capturing a single image, the one thing every outlet would have paid a fortune for. And then, just as the mystery reached its peak, Meghan Markle broke the silence herself. flipping the entire narrative with one calculated move. What the British media couldn't prove in days, Meghan confirmed in seconds. One carefully curated Instagram photo dump didn't just reveal the trip, it reframed it. It pulled Princess Diana back into the center of global attention and instantly raised a deeper question. Was this a personal memory or a controlled release designed to ignite exactly this reaction? The timing wasn't random, and neither were the images. Every frame felt chosen, every angle deliberate, every absence louder than what was shown. And then came the image that changed everything. At first glance, it looked peaceful: Harry walking along a green path with his children, backs turned to the camera, Archie beside him, both holding large bouquets. But within hours, reports began connecting the location to Althorp, the Spencer family estate, Princess Diana's childhood home, and more importantly, the place where her grave rests on a secluded island in Oval Lake. Suddenly, this wasn't just a family walk. It was something much more loaded. The distinction became critical. Meghan didn't photograph Diana's grave directly. That line was never crossed. But critics argued something even more provocative, that the image suggested movement toward the private memorial, flowers in hand, a symbolic moment captured just before something deeply personal. And once that interpretation took hold, the entire narrative shifted. A quiet holiday snapshot transformed into the center of a global royal controversy. Why include that image? Why choose the one photograph guaranteed to trigger Diana's legacy, William's grief, and global headlines? And why release it after benefiting from what insiders described as an extraordinary level of secrecy across Britain? Because behind this single image, something much bigger was unfolding: a power struggle over control, access, and narrative. Royal commentators quickly pointed to one explosive detail. This trip wasn't supposed to be public at all. Harry and Meghan's return to the UK reportedly came with strict conditions: no images from the royal reunion, no social media from royal property, no interviews revealing private conversations. This wasn't just a visit. It was a test. A controlled environment where trust could be rebuilt behind closed doors, away from Netflix, away from memoirs, away from headlines. But history made those conditions fragile from the start. Private conversations had become public before. Family tensions had surfaced in interviews.
Them were included in the documentary. So my contention is that all of these photos and videos for the documentary will have been taken personally by Harry and Meghan, which they believe gives them some type of out in terms of, oh no, well, we weren't really commercializing the visit. These were our own personal memories, and we've just decided to share them. But actually, that's not what's happened, Paula, because the only reason that they made this visit was in order to secure those.
Personal memories had been transformed into global content. So this time, everything was different. Movements were hidden. Vehicles were unmarked. Locations undisclosed. The Sussex family moved between Highgrove and Althorp like ghosts present, but unseen. And that level of secrecy proved something critical. Privacy was possible. No photographer caught them. No leak exposed them. One former royal reporter even suggested a clear image of Meghan with Archie and Lilibet in Britain could have sold for 6 figures. But no one got it. Not the press, not the paparazzi, nobody, until Meghan decided it was time. That's where the power shifted. Because this wasn't a violation of privacy. It was control of it. The Sussexes didn't lose their privacy, they held it, protected it, and then released it on their own terms. A paparazzi shot would have taken that power away.
To the memory of Diana, Angela?
Absolutely, that's what I said. Yes, it's absolutely disgusting to do that for Harry's mother, who he adores so much.
But why would you say it's an insult?
Insult for his mother? Because she doesn't want to be taken out of her own character and be thrown to everybody who wants to see.
But Meghan's post controlled everything. The timing, the angle, the emotional tone, even the mystery. She didn't just show the story, she dictated it. And yet, even before the photos appeared, the narrative had already begun leaking. People magazine published claims about Meghan's emotional response to the visit details, so personal, they immediately raised suspicion. Where did that information come from? Was it speculation, or was someone quietly shaping the story from inside her circle? There's no confirmed source, but the pattern was familiar enough to spark debate. Then the images dropped, and the omissions became just as powerful as what was shown. There was no photograph of Archie or Lilibet with King Charles, no image of Meghan inside Highgrove, no smiling reunion portrait with Queen Camilla. The most sensitive parts of the visit remained hidden, but everything else carefully revealed. Enough to confirm the trip. Enough to connect it to Diana. Enough to trigger speculation about what really happened behind closed doors. And that's when the hypocrisy argument exploded. Because for years, privacy had been presented as a firm boundary, a moral line that should never be crossed. Yet here, it became flexible. The children's faces remained hidden, but their presence was unmistakable. Their silhouettes appeared in meaningful locations. Their growth, clothing, surroundings all visible enough to generate headlines, but concealed enough to maintain mystery. Critics began calling it controlled scarcity. Reveal just enough to keep the world watching. Conceal just enough to keep the value high. Every partial glimpse increases curiosity. Every image becomes more powerful because the full picture is still missing. And this time, those silhouettes appeared at Althorp, the most emotionally charged location possible.
The last, 8-10 years of all the outfits she's copied of Diana's. And, it's actually quite, Oedipal and weird. It's almost as if she's trying to remind Harry, I'm mummy. And remember, you married
I'm mummy and
the woman.
I'm still in her perfume.
Yes, exactly. I'm the woman that your mother sent you to marry. I'm embodying her spirit.
Because Althorp isn't just land. It's Diana's story. It's where she was laid to rest, on an island deliberately isolated to protect her from intrusion. Charles Spencer designed it that way, water as a barrier, distance as protection, silence as respect. Which is exactly why this image hit so hard, because even without showing the grave, it pointed toward it. And Meghan would have known that. She had dozens of other photos travel, meals, ordinary family moments. Any of them could have represented the trip. But she chose this one. The path. The flowers. The implication. And suddenly, Diana wasn't just remembered. She was reintroduced into the conflict. Critics accused Harry and Meghan of using Diana's memory for attention. Others questioned whether more footage had been captured, archived, perhaps for a future documentary. There's no proof, no confirmed project. But the suspicion didn't come from nowhere, because the past had already shown how private moments could become public content. And that's what made this moment so dangerous. Not the image itself, but what it suggested might come next. Because if a private visit could become a public narrative once, what stops it from happening again? The moment that image left Meghan Markle's phone and entered the public timeline, the balance of power inside the royal family shifted again. And this time, it wasn't subtle. Because what critics saw wasn't just a photograph from Althorp. They saw a pattern repeating itself. A cycle the palace has tried and failed to contain. Private access, followed by public narrative. Silence, followed by selective revelation. And now, once again, a deeply personal moment orbiting Princess Diana had been pulled into a global media storm. But this time, the consequences weren't limited to headlines. They reached directly into the fragile structure of trust that had allowed this visit to happen in the first place. Prince William's presence in the controversy wasn't confirmed through statements, but it didn't need to be. The moment Althorp was connected to that image, his name entered the story automatically. Because Diana's memory isn't just history to him, it's guarded territory. For years, William has separated his public role from his private grief, refusing to turn personal remembrance into spectacle. He has never used Diana's burial site as a backdrop for storytelling. And now, whether intended or not, that exact boundary appeared to have been tested. No official reaction came from Kensington Palace. No denial, no outrage, just silence. But in royal dynamics, silence doesn't mean absence. It means calculation. It means observation. It means decisions are being made behind doors that don't open twice. And Harry's position inside the storm became even more complicated. Because this wasn't a case of media intrusion. No paparazzi crossed a line, no photographer invaded Althorp. This image came from inside the family itself. And that contradiction cut deeper than any headline. For years, Harry has spoken about the damage caused by cameras, by exposure, by turning private pain into public consumption. He built an entire narrative around protecting his children from that same experience. Yet here, the most symbolic connection they could have to their grandmother had been shared with the world on his own terms. That's where the internal conflict sharpens. Because it can't be blamed on the press. It can't be redirected toward the palace. It sits directly within the choices being made. And those choices are starting to affect the future. The meeting with King Charles at Highgrove, reported to have lasted less than an hour, suddenly looks very different through this lens. It wasn't a long emotional reunion. It wasn't a day of healing. It was structured, limited, controlled. Queen Camilla was reportedly present, not just as part of the family, but as a witness, someone ensuring there would be no later dispute about what was said, what was promised, what was implied. Every detail of that meeting suggests caution, not reconciliation. And then, almost immediately after, the narrative began to shift outside those walls. First through People magazine, with emotionally detailed reporting about Meghan's feelings. Then through Harry's brief public comment about his father's health. And finally, through the Instagram images that confirmed everything without explaining anything. Each piece alone revealed very little, but together they rebuilt the exact pattern the palace fears most, that private access eventually becomes public material. And that fear doesn't just stay theoretical, it changes behavior. Because every future invitation now carries risk. Why offer relaxed access if it might lead to another carefully framed story? Why allow extended stays if images from private estates could later appear online and ignite controversy? Why reopen doors that have already proven difficult to close? Even Charles Spencer, the guardian of Althorp, was pulled into that question. While no official statement confirmed his reaction, royal biographers openly speculated that this moment could affect future access. And the logic is simple. Private estates operate on trust. Once that trust feels uncertain, the invitations don't just pause, they disappear. And then came the timing. Because the photo release didn't land in isolation. It appeared just as Prince George's 13th birthday was dominating headlines. A moment carefully managed by William and Catherine, Prince and Princess of Wales, suddenly found itself sharing space with Archie, another royal child, reintroduced into the spotlight through a completely different narrative. Because if this visit was meant to prove that Harry and Meghan could return to Britain, respect boundaries, and rebuild trust, the outcome has raised more questions than answers. It reminded the palace why those boundaries existed. It reminded William how quickly Diana's memory can become part of a media cycle. And it reinforced a growing concern that privacy, in this context, isn't about protection, it's about ownership. Ownership of the image, ownership of the narrative, ownership of when the world sees and when it doesn't. So the question isn't whether the photo was inappropriate. The question is what it changes moving forward. Because the British press didn't expose this trip. The palace didn't announce it. The system designed to protect it worked perfectly. Until Meghan decided it didn't. And now, the consequences are no longer about one photograph at Althorp. They're about whether the royal family will ever risk another private moment becoming public again. Because once access turns into content, every future invitation becomes a gamble. And the next time Harry asks to come back, will there even be a door left open?